lady. I'm illegally parked, I know, part of my French and my Mercedes. But I have no excuse for this flea market shirt I'm wearing. My motley crew is beastie, and we enjoy the staring. I'm unemployed and daring. How dare I be so cool when it's so hot in Alabama? Sometimes we get snow too. And I'm as rare as a white Christmas in Miami, really. The temperature's dropping on South Beach, the ocean's getting chilly. But I'm driving, my people, the party, yeah. Some drinking, get rowdy, party. And I went out with a buddy or two, and it was all. And we got to the bar by the 1:45, and it was all. And we got going, 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 and we got going. Yes, I jumped off the boat, and I'm sinking in my chair, cause my beer bottle does not float. Help me now. Please enjoy the show. I done come up so fast that I'm afraid of heights. I gotta go. Help me down. Or I'll just learn to balance somewhere between commercial dreams and music that is valid. My babies need to eat, so I create a simple sound. The fiasco threw me for a loop. Hey, I dumbed it down, slick. Ricky Bobby driving. I'm driving. My people, the party, yeah. Some drinking, get rowdy, party. And I went out with a buddy or two, and it was all. And we got to the bar by the 1:45, and it was all. And we got going, and we got going, and we got going. And we got going, and we got going, and we got going. Yeah, my people are riding in trucks and wheels oversized. In such a world I reside, and your luck runs low with your pride. And enough to keep you about at the club when trouble's around. I got them car keys in hand, I know what the fuck's going down. Some of these people come sick, some pop the trunk for AKs. They wanna do bodily harm, they wanna live for the day. We just came to get stupid, so give me that bottle of Crown. I'll take my girl to my Caprice and get the fuck out of town. Come on, girl. And I'm driving. My people, the party, yeah. Some drinking, get rowdy, party. And I went out with a buddy or two, and it was all. And we got to the bar by the 1:45, and it was all. And we got going, and we got going, and we got going. And we got going, and we got going, and we got going.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Friday to everybody. Tried to start this show, I guess about an hour ago. Had some technical difficulties. Hopefully I don't have any more. We'll see. As you see on the screen there, this is the call-in show. You can call in live at 864-207-4552, which is a new number from the one I've been using the past few weeks. Talk about anything you want. Got a lot of good games tomorrow. We've got, well, first of all, I'll give you this announcement. I'm planning on right now doing a live stream, play-by-play reaction video like I normally do on Saturdays for the Ohio State and Wisconsin game. That is at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it wasn't really much of a choice. It's not the game I picked because that's the one I wanted to do. It's just more of a time issue of when I can do it. And so that 12 o'clock slot, that's the best game on. And so that's why I picked that one. Let me see who's in the chat here real quick. Looks like we got the General. Good morning. And that, Pete, good afternoon to you, sir. Michael Lynch, Clemson alum 98. What do you think about the stadium renovations the board approved recently. You're talking about where they're adding, I think about 2,000 seats on the hillside. They're going to add a second level to that. So right now, I could probably pull up a picture of the stadium. Right now, once you get to that corner, there's one low level of seats, and then the hill. They're going to add a second level of seats. They're also going to add some box, premium seats on the other side of the stadium, on the west side of the stadium. They already have a bunch of boxes over there. So, listen, I like it as long as it doesn't take away from the look. From the sketches I saw, it looks pretty cool. So. $67 million worth, yes. What's up, Clem and Son? How are you doing, sir? So this weekend we've got Washington State and Oregon, Penn State and Michigan's another good one. Tennessee and South Carolina. For some reason, that's interesting because we don't know which one of those teams is going to show up for either of those teams. Ohio State and Wisconsin, like I just mentioned. Notre Dame and Michigan's another one that everyone's wanting to see. I don't know what time that game comes on. I heard the weather is supposed to be very bad in Columbus for that noon kickoff. It says 100% chance of rain, maybe windy. So that could definitely affect things. I don't know if it'll affect Wisconsin as much as it affects Ohio State, because Wisconsin's mainly a run team, and that usually benefits in bad weather, right? So we'll see how Justin Fields can. First of all, he's going to be playing against a really good defense in Wisconsin. We'll see how he can handle the bad weather. Because anybody who is a fan of a team in the South, how many times have you heard these northern teams say, hey, you couldn't come up here and play in the cold, bad weather? Well, Justin Fields is from the South. He played high school football in Georgia, played college football in Georgia last year. So we'll see if that theory is correct or not. I'm not a big believer in that theory myself. But DeGoat Watson in the house, Ashley Snell. What's good? Pigskin, Michigan, Notre Dame, 7:30. Okay, yeah. Same time that Clemson's playing as well. Goose76 says, what's up? Brody L is in the house. He hates rain games. Yeah, I don't really like the bad weather games myself. I mean, especially if you're going to the game. It's a whole different story than if you're watching it on TV. But it is what it is. All right. As you can see, this show is driven by the callers and by the callers only. Calling number is 864-207-4552. You're a fan of one of these teams. You want to talk about your team this weekend. You want to talk about how Clemson's overrated. You want to talk about how, if you're a South Carolina fan, that they're going to beat the crap out of Tennessee. If you're a Tennessee fan, call and tell me how optimistic or not that you are that you will beat South Carolina tomorrow. Or anything above. What's up, Hound Dog? How you doing, man? DeGoat Watson says, I'm sleeping on Michigan. They should have a good chance against Notre Dame. Well, Las Vegas agrees with you. Michigan started out as a favorite against Notre Dame in Vegas. I think a lot of the money went on Notre Dame, so it's now moved to Notre Dame being a favorite by a point. Last time I checked, that was yesterday. It could have moved since then. I don't know. Vegas is usually, with their original line setting, they're usually pretty close. I mean, sometimes they'll miss the ball, but so I don't know. I just think that Notre Dame's a better team. It's their game to lose. So we'll see what happens. Plus, Notre Dame's coming off of a bye. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and Michigan hasn't. I think that might play a part in it, too. Michael is on the way to go on a date with his wife. Congratulations, sir. I hope you have a good time. Don't spend too much money. Also, don't be cheap either. That's not good for a date. So forget the first part of that. What's up? Clemson Owens is in the house. What's up, Pete? Ready for this rain fest tomorrow? Is it supposed to rain in Clemson? Are you saying that? I don't know about that. The only thing I heard about for the rain was I know there's going to be rain at the Ohio State game. I didn't hear anything about the Clemson game, but I'm assuming that's what you're saying. Hopefully nobody hears any barking in the background. Dog sitting. And the dog's not too happy that I have it locked up while I'm doing this show. So, Notre Dame is better, but it's a night game at Michigan. That's why I'm giving them a good chance. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think they have a good chance. I'm like, listen, everybody knows, if you've been here, I'm not a believer in Michigan against highly ranked teams. Now, normally that's a road situation. I think they have a better record at home against highly ranked teams than they do on the road. But still, 60% chance at kickoff. Ramon Jordan, what's up, man? Coming through with a $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. Pete, what's up, my boy? What's up with you, Ramon? Haven't heard from you in a while. I understand. I know your Canes are not looking real good. That game tomorrow is interesting, too. That's a tough one, I think, for them. What's up, 6 o'clock Glock? How you doing, man? Drinking a beer and listening to me. What could be better? Tomorrow's also senior day at Clemson for Boston College, I think. I was talking to my wife yesterday. We were reminiscing back on all the Clemson games that we've been to over the years. We've been to some great ones too, not just in Clemson, but some road games. Well, not road games, but one of them was a road game, Virginia Tech, and bowl games like the one we went to in against LSU in the Peach Bowl. But I was trying to think, like, of all the home games we've been to, and we've been to a bunch of them, which team do we see the most? And I've probably been to like 7 Boston College games in Clemson in my life, maybe more than that. Been to a bunch of Wake Forest games, went to Florida State this year, went to Louisville last year. I know I've been to a North Carolina State game. Trying to think of what else. I think I went to a Virginia Tech game at home at Clemson. That was a long time ago. That might have been in the early 2000s. But I've seen a bunch of Boston College games in Clemson. And I have never been to a Clemson game in my life that they lost. So they should probably pay me to sit in the stands there if they don't want to lose. What up, College Football Maniac? What's up, Michael? Zephyr, hey Pete, how's your day been? Ready to beat down BC tomorrow? I haven't had a great day or a great week. I'm not going to really get into that because I don't really want to talk about it. I would rather talk about football, but thank you for asking. I'm surprised they have that Boston College game at night. I'm actually happy that they do, but I'm surprised that they do. They almost always have Boston College games at home in Clemson as a 12 o'clock kickoff, sometimes maybe 3:30. But, the weird thing was what they did this year. They did the Charlotte game at night too, right? Didn't they? Or am I wrong about that? They've had one night game this year. I can't remember which one it was now. Terrible memory. They should have a picture of you in Death Valley for good luck. And they should just give me a free seat right there on the 50-yard line, maybe about 10 rows up where it's perfect. And just send me there. Just pay me to go there every week and sit in the stands so they don't lose. That's what they should do. The number's not working. Of course it's not. I just made a new number today. Well, right before I came on. Hold on a second. Oh. 864-207-4552. Hold on a second. Let me go in there and see if I can try to fix it. Call in number 864-207. It's 4522. God, I'm dyslexic. 4522. Let me change it. Let me see if I can change it here. See? This is why nobody should ever leave me in charge of doing anything productive. There it is. All right, 864-207-4522. My fault. Good Lord. What's up, vodka drinker? Fear the Jesuits, Pete. All right, so yeah, I changed the, I gave you the correct number now if you want to call in, Johnny. Sorry for anybody who else tried to call in. Who knows how many people tried to call and couldn't get in. All right, let's see here. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Hello? Hey, Pete, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? Sorry about that.
That's all right. It's just technical difficulties.
Yeah. How can I help you today, man?
So, I guess it's your weekly Alabama update, and
okay.
I enjoyed the show with Rover last night. It was pretty good. So as we speak now, he had the tightrope procedure, and
is that
definitely not playing for the next couple of weeks.
Is that the same one? Is that the same one he had last year?
Same procedure, different ankle.
Yeah. Okay. So same deal, but just a different.
So,
all right. Gotcha.
Yeah. And the doctors here that were saying that after the procedure done, it's usually a 4 to 6 week. He may heal quicker, but he has 10 rotations on that ankle before it starts to elastic. It'll spread a little bit for him, he was saying. So who knows what's going to happen with the game with LSU. I think that the game tomorrow with Auburn is going to be a great game. I think it's a look-ahead game for LSU. We've had a lot of LSU people call in the radio, talk about Alabama, talk about Tua. I don't know if Auburn will win, but I do think they'll cover. I don't know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, let me. Where's the line? I see I have my lines out here. I know I had that. Do you know what the line is? It's
10.5.
10.5. Okay. I would probably take Auburn with the points. That seems like a lot. That seems like too.
That's what I did.
Yeah, that seems like too many points. But yeah, I think it'd be surprising if LSU loses that game. I mean, there is a chance they could look past them, like you said. But I don't think that the coaches and the players are looking past them. I think maybe more the fans are. Of course, Auburn. Auburn's a legitimate team, and it has NFL defense, especially defensive line, might be one of the best in America, if not the best in America. So they could give Joe Burrow some fits, no doubt. If there's a couple of turnovers, especially early, if Auburn can score some points off of turnovers, maybe in the first half, then it would come down to the fourth quarter. But if somehow LSU comes out there and catches them on their heels and scores 14 or 21 points maybe in the first quarter and gets up to a 2 or 3 touchdown lead, it's going to be hard for Auburn to come back from that because their offense just isn't built. It's not as high powered to do that as LSU's is.
Right, I agree totally. And Whitlow is not playing for them; he's hurt, so it's going to be a mutter game too. There's a lot of rain. It's rained here all day today, so our game's going to be mutter too. Just a little tidbit. I'm not going to take long. A lot of people want to call in, I'm sure. I just find it hilarious, all the grief you're catching with Trevor Lawrence. Quick question. Do you remember how many interceptions Brett Favre had in 1996?
1.5 million. I don't know. A lot.
He had 16, but he had 16 that year, and he won the Super Bowl. No one remembers how many interceptions he had, and trust me. Well, it's a narrative now for people to talk about Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't even care. Even the Clemson fans are upset with the interceptions. I understand that. I mean, Deshaun Watson had 16 interceptions in 2016. When they won the national championship that year. Interceptions are not good, especially when you go up against a really legitimate team like Clemson would face if they get into the playoffs, right? But that's something I think that can be fixed. But the rest of the team, like I've been saying, is playing lights out. I read something today that Clemson's defense this year is on pace to break a record that was set in 1954 with holding every single team that they play to under 300 yards of offense. That means that this year, so far, they have held every team to under 300 yards of offense. And if they continue to do that throughout the regular season, that will be a record that hasn't happened in 70 years or almost 70 years. So the defense is playing lights out.
Pete.
Yeah.
That doesn't fit the narrative, Pete. You can't say that. I mean, then it would go against Joel Klatt and everybody that's got Clemson. Anybody that has Clemson out of the top 4 is a complete idiot. And it's like I tell people, Klatt does that to get trigger people to call in, to tweet. it's amazing to me how much people fall for that narrative.
Yeah,
they did it in Alabama every year.
Yeah, it's not just Klatt.
Yeah,
it's a lot of the media because I think what it is if you work for one of these major networks, it's not fun to talk about Clemson and Alabama year after year after year. They want a different storyline, right? I mean, listen, if you remember back when Clemson started coming on, what was it, 5 or 6 years ago, when they started making a run at everybody and beating everybody, that was a fun story for the media because Clemson wasn't, they weren't used to talking about Clemson doing that. But now that they've been there for 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and now they're tired of them too. So they want somebody else to come in there. They want somebody from the Big 12 to win a national title. They want somebody from the Pac-12 to win a national title. They want somebody from the Big 10 to emerge again, like an Ohio State, which I get. And all those teams are great. But I think they got made of a fool of last year by saying the same things that they're saying now. And so we'll see if they get made a fool of again. But I hope they do, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I was listening to Joey Galloway, and I read a lot with Danny Cannell. I don't know what station he's on, but yeah, the premise that, hey, well, Clemson's number one on my poll because they're the champions and they haven't been defeated, so they're number one. Which, hey, I'm fine with that too. I think the top fours are interchangeable. Maybe even the top 5 or 6 are interchangeable.
Yeah.
But I was telling Cannell, if you're going to use that premise, if Clemson's won and they haven't been beat, why isn't Alabama 2? Because they were 2 last year at the end of the season, and they haven't been beaten.
That's a very good point.
Because I don't think we're the number 2 team. Right. That's what I told him. I said, your premise is wrong. I don't believe we're the number 2 team in the country right now, especially with Tua hurt. We're definitely not number 2 in the country. But I think you could take 1 through 5. I think LSU's played the best schedule.
Yeah.
And but this will get settled. That'll get settled in the next 3 weeks. So we'll see. I think you guys will be there like you are every year. I don't think you have any, like I said, tough games. You got Boston College. We'll see what State does. State's so weak, but
I mean, it's
going to be interesting in the next 3 weeks.
We'll still have, I think, a pretty good team. Whoever comes out of the Coastal is either going to be Virginia or Pitt, most likely. I think those are the 2 toughest teams in the Coastal. There's a 3-way tie right now in the Coastal Division for first place, so it's really anybody's game. But I still think it would be shocking if Virginia or Pitt didn't be the one to represent them. And both of those teams are tough outs. I mean, they're not Clemson. I understand that, but they're not just going to lay down and die in a championship situation. They could upset somebody. And then, of course, the week before, 2 weeks before that, you'll have the South Carolina game around the Thanksgiving time. So South Carolina's not a pushover team this year either, and they don't have anything to lose. The only thing that South Carolina has to lose at this point is possibly getting to a bowl game, depending on what they do between now and when they play Clemson. Especially, imagine if they're out of bowl contention at that point, then they really have nothing to lose. Clemson's the one that has everything to lose. The game's in Columbia. So they pull out all the stops, treat it like a bowl game that could end up being their bowl game if they're not bowl eligible. And we all know in these bowls, you see a lot of upsets because that's the last game of the year for them. So they'll pull out every stop, every trick play that they can to try to win because they're not thinking ahead. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well.
You think they beat Tennessee this weekend?
I think they're a better team than Tennessee, but the fact that it's in Tennessee, I would give Tennessee a very slight edge. I think it's going to be really close. So that's one of the most interesting games just because of the way that Tennessee has come on the past couple of weeks and looked like such a different team, and the fact that South Carolina has looked like a much better team than they did earlier in the year as well. They're both really fighting, and this is an important game for both programs, both head coaches. If Will Muschamp loses this game, this is one they were expected to win, preseason. And for Pruitt, it's huge because they're knocking on the door of finally turning the corner and becoming a legitimate team in the East and competing with the teams in the East. And if they fall to South Carolina, that's going to be a disappointing loss, in my opinion, to Tennessee, especially at home.
Right. I agree. I agree. I took Duke plus 3.5 against the Tar Heels. I think Duke handles business.
Where's that game played? I don't think. Not that that matters. I don't think, but.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Yeah, it's a good point. It's at Chapel Hill, but they're only 8 miles apart. We used to live in Wake Forest, which is probably 10, 15 miles from there.
Yeah.
And any other year, it'd be just like a home game for Duke. They travel well, but Carolina's had such a good year with Mac Brown. It'll be pro Tar Heel there. But I just think Duke's, they played us. They didn't score a lot of points, but they've gotten better every week. And, usually when you see a team lose a game 6 overtimes, it's a tough bounce back.
Yeah.
I mean, Carolina may win that game, but I took Duke the points.
Usually if you're betting on Duke as an underdog, usually works. They usually cover. Now, last week, I bet or for my Bet Now deal, I bet on Duke. They were underdog on the road at, where was that, Virginia, and they got spanked. It was like 30-something to 3. They had nothing on offense. That was kind of surprising. But also, I think that David Cutcliffe is one of my favorite coaches in all of America, not just in the ACC. And I think he'll have an answer for it. You won't see usually Duke. They're not world beaters or anything, but you're not going to see them lay eggs like that multiple weeks in a row most of the time. So I think you probably had a safe bet there. That's a hard one to call, though.
Yeah, it's tough. There's a lot of tough games this week, and you know how it is. All right, well, good show, man. It's good talking to you again. Good luck for the weekend. I'm interested. I did take Arkansas plus 33 against us. I really think that,
I would too.
Mac.
Yeah.
Mac Jones. He was. We had some really bad calls against Tennessee. I mean, they really got the shaft when they were driving against us. The refs really kind of hurt him a couple of times. Mac Jones was so nervous. He was skipping balls. It'll be nice to kind of see what he does. We're going to run the ball.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean, Brian Robinson and Aggies. It's going to be wet. So it'll be a tough game for us. I think people are kind of overlooking Arkansas since they haven't won a game in the last 2 years in the SEC. But
yeah,
I took the point.
Arkansas is going to struggle to score a lot of points, but I think you might see Alabama rush for over 300 yards in this game. I think they're going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the game plan, and it's wet. And, it's going to be, like I said, it's just hard to turn a team away with 33 points, even though it's Arkansas.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big bet. I think it was 50 cents or something like that, or 75 or something. But,
yeah.
All right, well, good show, man. It's good talking to you again, and I guess I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
See you.
All right, guys, there you have it. Johnny Red Dot calling in. Talk a little bit about Alabama, Clemson, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, and everything else about the ACC. Let me catch up on some of the comments here. What's up, TTD Tyler in the house? What's up to you, sir? Tiger Nation's here. Dennis Wilson is in the house. Pete, where does South Carolina play Clemson? It's in Columbia this year. Vodka Drinker says his only fear for the Vols is Feaster going off. Yeah. He's been playing great this year. Both those backs for South Carolina have been playing well this year, though. This guy makes it hard to hate Alabama. Yeah, I don't hate Alabama anyway. I don't hate anybody. I just hate haters. Mac Jones got handed the keys to the Mercedes. Let's hope he doesn't wreck it. Yeah, well, he's got Ruggs and Judy. He's got, I mean, the same situation at Clemson, right? If you're a backup quarterback like Chase Bryce is for Clemson, or for him for Alabama, and you've got these NFL wide receivers all around you and NFL running backs, it does make your job a little bit easier. They'll probably simplify the offense for him, I would imagine, and just run the ball a lot. And then, of course, if they're having success running the ball, that's going to leave Judy and Ruggs wide open. And so he'll maybe have some success throwing the ball as well. What's up, Lane White? Georgia Tech fan in the house. a second here. All right, everybody, the number to call in, 864-207-4522. Now, that's the correct one. I know it works because Johnny just called it. The one I had up there before was not right because I'm dyslexic, apparently. Johnny Red Dot with a $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Normally, I have a lot of the Canes fans stopping in and calling in, and I think that they are probably pretty much emotionally and spiritually defeated at this point, and I can't blame them. I actually kind of feel bad for them. Arkansas is one of those teams you can lay down on and make a few mistakes and still stomp them. Come on, and San Jose State. Yeah, listen, Arkansas is not good. They're not good. There's not many players on Arkansas's team that would start for Alabama. That just tells you all you need to know. But we'll see. Where is that game? That game's in Tuscaloosa, right? Yeah, big rain in Alabama. Apparently, it's going to be raining over the entire eastern half of the country, or at least through the south. Yeah, you got rain in the Alabama game. You've got rain at the Clemson game. You got rain at the Ohio State game. So I guess it's just a rainy day altogether throughout college football, which could lead to some upsets. We've seen a lot of upsets this year. Wouldn't be surprised to see some more this weekend. Hopefully, it's not the Tigers. And if you're a fan of any of these other teams, hopefully it's not your team, right? I got a couple of calls here. Good afternoon, you're on Pete.
Howdy, Pete.
What's up?
How you been?
I'm great. I'm amazing and fantastic. How you doing?
Well, it's been about 8 weeks since I last called in.
Who am I speaking with?
Tech fan.
Oh, what's up, man? Yeah, last time we talked, we were very optimistic about the team. Now, you did have a big win last week, so that was good, right?
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
optimism keeps me going, but I'm not honestly upset. I can actually say that I'm not, even though we've lost all these games, I can say I'm not upset.
I'm not surprised, man.
What
do you expect? He's trying to change the entire system, the entire offense especially, and he's got different players to do it. So the fact that they came out and won that game the way they did last week was impressive, though.
Well, the offense finally looked like it was clicking somewhat last week.
Yeah. So how's the I don't know if you follow this or not, because I'm not a big recruiting guy until the end of the season or towards the off season. And hold on real sec. While I'm mentioning that, I'm planning on going to the Under Armour All-American game in Florida on January 2nd, I think it is. And so I'll be in full recruiting mode at that point, just because I'm going to be going down there to talk to some hopefully some highly recruited players for Clemson that they're going to be playing in that game. So. And maybe some other schools too. We'll see what happens. But so, do you follow recruiting at this point for Georgia Tech? I mean, because that's what the future of Georgia Tech at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, is any exciting recruits or what?
Well, the recruiting's much better.
Okay. Is there a project?
I mean, just today, actually, we signed a 4-star receiver out of. I don't recall off the top of my head. He's a dual-star athlete. He plays baseball and football for Tech.
Okay. Well, you didn't sign one. They haven't signed yet, but you got a commitment, is what you're saying.
Hasn't signed, but he's committed.
Okay. What about quarterback? That's where a lot of this. I mean, first of all, defensive linemen. We know that's the core of a defense, and then of course on offense, you're talking about running backs and most importantly, probably the quarterback, the guy that touches the ball in every single play. So, any exciting quarterback news in the future for Georgia Tech that can run a different style of offense than the triple option that they've been doing?
Well, actually, now you mentioned that, I remember whenever we talked about how Lucas Johnson was probably going to be a starter. Yeah, whenever I said that, I might have been drunk at the time. Because I'm not kidding. Whenever he comes in, there's two options on the play. It's either throw the interception or take the sack. There's no other, not a single other option.
Maybe you should put some of your wide receivers in the same colors as your opponent, and he'll throw it to them instead.
Maybe. I don't know. But we got a new guy in there, Graham, that 4-star out Fitzgerald, and he's playing fairly well, actually.
Okay.
He's much more poised.
Yeah.
Granted, he had to catch up on grades, but he caught up on grades, so he's got the offense much better than it was.
I would imagine
So
that Jeff Collins is hitting the recruiting trail very hard, looking for that stud. And it might, I wouldn't expect it to be like a 5-star quarterback like Tua or Trevor, the first time he goes out and gets one.
No.
But he's going to be looking for that diamond in the rough. Maybe that guy that's being overlooked by everybody else. Maybe it's that guy that's getting highly recruited by some of the group of 5 teams, right? Or the even some of these FCS teams. That's just a dynamic player, but for whatever reason isn't getting a lot of looks from the major schools, and try to find a diamond in the rough that can come in there and turn things around. I think that's the best bet for you. And there's I have faith that he's the guy that can do something like that. He's I think he's going to be a good coach there.
It'll just take time. I didn't want to accept it, but I finally have. It will take time, but I'm okay with that. Because in the long run, I feel like it'll finally work out. Yeah,
it's gonna be a rebuild, man. I think I told you the last time that we spoke. I would give him. Well, hopefully you'll see a massive improvement next year. You just want to see an improvement from year to year. I didn't have any expectations for Georgia Tech this year. I think next year you should have a little bit more expectations, and then the 3rd, 4th year, that's really when you want to see it pay off. You should be. Definitely by the 3rd and 4th year competing for your division and hopefully for the ACC, trying to challenge Clemson at some point. But anything less than 4 years for a guy that's doing the rebuilding that he's doing is not fair to him or the fans.
You're right. No, but I don't think the fans are honestly discrediting him for this season. I mean, it's a learning experience. It's a whole new thing. I came in with high hopes. I mean, the defenses I'll say this, the defenses look much better than it ever has under Paul Johnson. I will say that with a smile. Even though the stats may not show it, the effort looks 10 times better.
Yeah.
And that you can see.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot. Well, a lot of these new coaches in the ACC. Same thing with Satterfield. Same thing with Mac Brown at North Carolina. It's just when you come in and you have a new fire, a new attitude, there's something to prove, and there's a total change in the way things look for these teams that just looked terrible last year, and so but that's always a good sign.
But I mean, like I said, this is going to be a process, but I'm with it all through and through.
You're a real fan, sir. Anybody that it can stick with Georgia Tech through everything they've been going through is a real fan. I can respect that. Obviously, when we play you every year, I hope to destroy you. But I don't. I like the fact that you're not a fair weather or a bandwagon fan. That's always a good thing.
No, I never will be. But one thing before I let you go, I'm going to say this. I do predict one upset this week now.
Who's that?
I think Penn State's going to lose to Michigan State on the road.
That's a hell of an upset there. Yeah.
I do, but nobody's talking about it. It's one of those games that I just feel Penn State's high and mighty, but nobody's talking about them as much, but nobody even expects Michigan State to do anything. I feel like that's when they can just come up and win that game out of nowhere.
Yeah, that would certainly shake up things as far as the rankings that are about to come out for the playoff poll. With Penn State being undefeated right now, they would definitely drop a good bit. I don't think that's going to happen just because of Michigan State's offense is so bad looking. But you never know. If Michigan State's defense can somehow just keep it a low scoring affair, they can stay in there and maybe have a chance at the end. But that would be a big upset. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I'll talk to you eventually, Pete. I hope we beat Georgia every year and you, but I'm glad I can be a Tech fan and finally smile under something better.
Keep your chin up, bro. Thanks for watching. Thanks for calling, too. All right, guys. There you guys have a Georgia Tech fan. He's the only he might be literally the only Georgia Tech fan that even watches this channel more